All right, guys, this is your Cold War test. Number one, which of the following describes the policy of containment? A, providing financial aid to secure communist governments around the world. B, a series of treaties and agreements to halt the spread of capitalism. C, efforts between Soviet and US leaders to reach a consensus on policy. D, attempting to stop the spread of communism through aid to nations in danger. Number two, which of the following describes the system of communism? A multi-party political system with a free market economy and open elections. B, a system where the political and economic decision-making is decentralized. C, an economic system based on citizen ownership of the means of production. D, an economic system based on government ownership of the means of production. Number three, what was the physical representation of the Iron Curtain? A, Communist Shield. B, Berlin Wall. C, Iron Wall. D, Warsaw Barrier. Number four, which of the following statements best describes the Korean conflict? A, conflict between North Korea and the Soviet Union. B, conflict between the Soviet Union and Japan over control of Korea. C, an example of the US policy of containment. D, conflict between Japan and Korea. Number five is going to ask you to look at the domino theory. As you can see, you have dominoes. I'm going to start with the guy pushing the domino. So this says Viet Cong. On his hat, he is pushing it. Vietnam, Laos, Cambodia, Thailand, Burma, India, Bangladesh. Bangladesh has the guy leaning, but it hasn't fallen. So based on this picture, number five says, what was the idea behind the domino theory? A, if one country fell to communism, other countries around it would also fall to communism. B, Vietnam would resist communism because it was the inferior system. C, in order to encourage citizen support, US troops should invade Vietnam. D, nations across the world must be protected from capitalism using force, nuclear arms production. Number six, what were the goals of the Soviet Union and the United States in developing new space technologies? A, advancing advancing espionage and the ability to launch missiles from space. B, building a space station for use by all Warsaw Pact members. C, locating a habitable planet for the new international colony. D, building up arsenals to prepare for an aerial battle. Number seven, what signaled the beginning of the Cuban Missile Crisis? A, the US shot down Cuban planes that were flying over Florida. B, US spy planes cited the buildup of missile sites in Cuba. C, Soviet forces shot down US planes on a reconnaissance mission. Sorry, y'all. D, Cuban planes cited the buildup of missile sites in Texas. Number eight, which policy did the US government use to respond to the Cold War tensions of the 1950s? A, isolationism. B, imperialism. C, globalization. Or D, containment. Number nine, what impact did the Soviet Union launch of Sputnik have on the United States? A, United States will increase spending on science and math. B, United States will end the Cold War. C, Soviet Union will launch an invasion of the United States. D, United States will send aid to Cuba. Number 10, it says, I have here in my hand a list of 205 people that were known to the Secretary of State as being members of the Communist Party and who nevertheless are still working in shaping the policy of the State Department. Senator Joseph McCarthy. Senator McCarthy gave his quote following World War II as a response to what? A, war in Korea. B, increase in communist fears. C, growth of industry. D, increase in undocumented immigrants. Number 11, which event signaled an end to the Cold War? A, the construction of the Iron Curtain in 1950. B, the fall of South Vietnam in 1971. C, the Soviet Union invasion of Afghanistan in 1979. D, the fall of the Berlin Wall in 1989. You have a map here. This says NATO, and inside the map, it says joining the club. NATO faces a November deadline on whether to admit 9 hopefuls to the alliance. The dark spots are NATO members. The dashes are NATO candidates. And it says United States and Canada not shown. They are members also. So once again, these are all those people that are NATO members, okay? So the question says, based on the map, what impact has NATO had on the world since the Cold War? A, countries that used to be enemies of war now work together to keep the world at peace. B, most of the countries that are a part of NATO had been alliances before the Cold War. C, NATO has not kept the world from having global issues. D, the countries a part of NATO have escalated foreign issues with countries not associated with NATO. This is based on the map, okay? And number 13, what was the key difference between NATO and the Warsaw Pact? A, NATO is an organization not open to admitting any other countries, whereas the Warsaw Pact allows countries to join. B, the Warsaw Pact is an agreement that still exists today, and NATO fell apart after the Cold War. C, NATO and the Warsaw Pact, sorry y'all, that is the bell. NATO and the Warsaw Pact had different views about global affairs. D, NATO is a treaty between North America and Europe, whereas the Warsaw Pact was an agreement between communist nations during the Cold War. That is it. Good luck to you all.